Have you ever wondered how dividend reinvesting works? In this video, I'm going to show you how it works in real life in my dividend growth portfolio. Hi, I'm Dave Van Knapp. Here is that portfolio. Don't take time to study it now because I'm going to put it back up at the end of the video and you can study the details then. This is my monthly portfolio review, and in this video I'm going to tell you how I compound dividends by reinvesting them. Before I get started, may I ask that if you like this content, please click the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so that you get notifications of new videos as we put them up. This past month I made one change to the portfolio, shown here where I've highlighted just the Verizon line from the portfolio. What I did was I used dividends collected in the prior month to buy 6 shares of Verizon. I already owned Verizon, so the purchase increased my position from 108 shares to 114 shares. The number of positions in the portfolio didn't change since I already owned Verizon, so that stays the same at 28 stocks. If you remember from last month's portfolio video, I never add new money to the portfolio. So where did the money come from for me to make this purchase? The money to buy those shares of Verizon came from the dividends paid to me by other companies in the portfolio. Since my previous reinvestment in March, I collected $274 in dividends from 7 companies in the portfolio. So when the time for my April reinvestment rolled around, I had that money plus a little left over from the prior month to make my choice of Verizon. By the way, if you want to know more about how and why I chose Verizon, you can see it explained in my video dated April 17th. What I want to focus on today is how reinvesting dividends triggers compounding and how amazing compounding is. Compounding is really simple. It means making money on money already earned. Think about it. The money already earned is the dividends I just showed you. I collect them in cash for a month and then I reinvest them. I do that 12 times a year. Collecting those dividends is the only source of new money in this portfolio because I never add new money from the outside. When I buy new shares with those dividends, I start to make money from them. Thus, I satisfy the definition of compounding, which is making money from money already earned. I want to show you a depiction of how this plays out over time. To do this, I'm going to use a compounding calculator at Miller Howard Investments. To generate the graph, I plugged in some parameters that are approximately the same as my portfolio's numbers over the years. Here's the input box, and I input the beginning value of the portfolio when I started it, $46,783. I put in 3.5% yield. Of my portfolio goes up and down as prices change, but over time it's fair to say that it's been around 3.5%. The dividend growth rate refers to the average growth of all the stocks dividends that I own, and over the years that's been around 6.5%, so I input that. And most important, at the bottom circled, I checked the box that says with dividend reinvestment. That will generate a line on the graph that shows how the dividends grow over time. There's a second input box, and in the second input box I put all exactly the same numbers, except I did not check the with dividend reinvestment box. So that'll show you how the dividends would grow without reinvesting them. Here's the chart that I generated by using those inputs. The blue line shows your dividend growth with dividends reinvested along the way, and the orange line shows your dividends if you don't reinvest the dividends along the way. I think the difference in those two lines is amazing. And that's how compounding works, via the simple act of reinvesting the dividends that you receive. Now I marked up the display to show you something else. Notice how compounding starts kind of slow for the first few years. Then it picks up steam for a few more, turns upward at about a 45-degree angle after a few more years, and then finally at about year 17 or 18, it turns practically vertical because the growth in your dividends becomes so fast as the result of the compounding. The line curves upwards, gets steeper and steeper with each passing year. That upward curvature is called compounded growth or geometric growth. Now here's the same graph again with year 13 called out. I did that because my portfolio is about to turn 13 years old. It will at the end of May or the beginning of June. Its yield on cost just reached 11%, and the annual income run rate is about $5,139, just as shown on the display. And just to make sure we all understand, what that 11% yield on cost means is that my companies are now sending me each year dividends at the rate of 11% of my original investment to start the portfolio. Indeed, that kind of income generating power was the inspiration for the portfolio when I started it in 2008. I can't let you guys go without showing my favorite chart for the dividend growth portfolio. This chart shows how my income has gone up relentlessly from year to year. That's why it's my favorite chart, because it shows the reality, not just the theory, about steady dividend growth every year, pushed forward by reinvesting the dividends when you get them. Over the last 11 years through the end of 2020, my compound annual growth rate of dividends each year has been 10.6%. As of now, with about half of the companies in the portfolio having announced their dividend hikes for 2021, I think that this year's dividends are going again to increase by 10% or a little more. For a portfolio yielding more than twice as much as the S&P 500, that's a really good rate of growth. And to begin to repeat myself a little bit, the growth in dividends each year is fueled not only by regular dividend increases from the companies themselves, but also by the dividend reinvestments that I make each month. As you can see, I have used reinvestments to start a new position in January this year, then to add to 3 different positions since then, including the most recent addition to Verizon that we've talked about. So far, my monthly reinvestments have added $111 to my income stream already this year, and I still have 8 more reinvestments to make through the rest of the year. Okay, that is some insight into dividend reinvestment and compounding. I'll finish by putting the portfolio back up on the screen. We'll leave it there for a little while, and of course you can pause the video if you want to examine it in detail. Okay, that's a wrap for this month's Dividend Growth Portfolio Report. Please remember to click the buttons. Ask me questions or make comments in the area underneath the video, and we can all learn from each other through those discussions. Thanks, guys. See you next time.